guys, about 4 to 5 hours ago as I'm recording this voice. And I don't know if this was a thing or not, because I can't remember well. Well, we did come across something here called Blight Survival. Here's what's described as I've gathered to be a co-op action horror roguelite set in some alternative 14th century about some war between two rival cities and some deadly disease that has turned its folks into maniacs. Check it out. Game set to be coming to PCs only mid to late next year.
We're in the middle of the Deadlands.
The Blight sucked this place dry. Meaning no trees, no birds, and no magic.
Square Enix, on the other hand, although haven't yet officially revealed a specific date here, came out once again and teased Final Fantasy XVI and said the game is releasing for the PlayStation 5 and eventually PCs around summer next year. Not just this, of course, a new trailer and the word that Final Fantasy XVI won't be much of a multiplayer this time around, but an individual experience and heavily focused on story and its single-player campaign.
Bastion of tradition.
At the very least, we must secure Drake's breath.
The Holy Empire of Sanbreque, where ambition is divine.
The Imperial banner shall fly over every city in Storm. All shall bow before their emperor.
What makes them think they have the right to use us? To leave us to die when our bodies are spent?
I'll crush him! Flay him!
1,500 years have passed since Christ broke the cross they nailed him to. With fire and steel, he took revenge upon the non-believers.
At number 3, since this has been quite a while, we had any updates regarding, well, see, developers finally came up with an actual gameplay trailer on The Inquisitor, now retitled just The Inquisitor, but was formerly only revealed to be a story-driven action-adventure based on a series of books about an alternative history where Jesus Christ, of course, responds to his crucifixion with rage rather than forgiveness. Check it out, just in case you missed it.
God give us strength not to forgive those who sin against us.
Coming up behind that, and yes, it has been some time, I'm assuming you'll have been waiting here, THQ Nordic just released a new trailer for Gothic Remake and some new locations that are added, some new designs that are also added to the game. This is an action RPG, just for those of you new, set in some medieval world of humans and orcs that came out originally more than 20 years back. It is now releasing once again for PCs and the next generation of consoles early next year.
No slacking! It's a pickaxe, not a soup plate. see nothing. Come on, let's head back. This is too dangerous.
And go back to that piss hole of a camp. No way, man. Not until we find that stuff.
Oh, no, no, no! Help!
See, Nacon just came out with the news that Gangs of Sherwood, the co-op action game they've been cooking since May last year, is now finally coming over to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PCs around June next year. Guys, Gangs of Sherwood, just for those of you new, is a third-person PvE-based action game in which you play the role of called Robin, or maybe it's Robin Hood, I don't know, along with 3 other heroes and help the poor. Check it out, here's a somewhat cinematic trailer. Around September this year, well, at the Tokyo Games Show, IGN once again shared another new gameplay showcasing of a Souls-like fantasy RPG action game that's been in the making since 2019. I do believe most of you are already familiar with, well, but in any case, called the Awakener Ryzen. This game is now being fully made using Unreal Engine and will release for PCs and the PlayStation consoles only, due out mid to late 2023. Next up, we've got something over here called Moonhill. Totally news to me, this is a third-person action RPG with a single focus, as stated by developers aiming to make it all feel like a dream rather than a game. Be it the sounds, levels, light, atmosphere, of course, gameplay. Not really much to talk about over here with this one except the trailer over here. It is in the work of an indie developer and said to be roughly around 20 hours of gameplay. Now, coming up behind that one, we've got from earlier June this year, Unawake. Work of the old publisher's Top-Blitz production. This is in case you have been missing out on a character customization based action RPG adventure, something in the same style of both the Mass Effect games and also Dragon Age, but technically the Bethesda games. Probably what would happen if you were to mix both of these and hand them over to an indie developer. Here's the trailer, game set to be released for PCs and due out by the end of 2023. Next up, we've got Noble's Life Kingdom Reborn. This is a realistic medieval life sim at the same time strategy game with some pretty accurate historical depth as stated by developers. So if you've ever wanted to know what it really takes to truly be a nobleman back in the medieval era, as they say, you might want to keep this one on your radar, because anything you do see here will eventually apparently be a real thing in the game. Check it out, the game's set to be coming out in 2024 for PCs only. Moving on, we've got Renown, basically a multiplayer survival, one that's set in a vast and ever-changing medieval world where players begin the journey with nothing, start gathering resources, building a kingdom, and then fighting for survival. See, at its core, Renown is actually a first-person, kind of like Chivalry, with a strong emphasis on competitive skill-based stuff. Just check it out. Game set to be coming to Steam either late 2022 or up early next year. At number 11, we've got Mortal Rite. Something over here touted as a roguelike Souls-like developed by a team of 5 folks called Round Toast Studios since 2019 through a Kickstarter campaign that I do believe is still live. Check it out. Mortal Rite is at its core an action RPG, and one that even supports co-op play for up to 5 players. Game set to be coming to PCs only and due out early next year.
Bloodshed. I feel like I'm trapped on a path I can't change.
Coming up behind that, we have Lost Eidolons. This is another turn-based tactical game and one with a heavy focus on cinematic narrative elements about the last days of some dying empire after a civil war. The good news, now for those of you who've been waiting, is that the game's been setting on Steam for PCs only and taking you down for $25 in its current state. Quite frankly, it's really close to being a masterpiece for a tactics-based game in every single department. Story, gameplay, mechanics, you name it. The console versions, however, also the Nintendo Switch, will come possibly around March next year.
that the land had been washed of the evil that plagued it for so long. New civilizations have risen, and order has once again been restored to the kingdom of Redreach.
At number 13, we've got Stormrite. Now, this is a single-player, third-person TP open-world action RPG, well, what developers of which said to have a lot in common with games like Skyrim on the nose. See, Stormrite is actually funding through Kickstarter right now with the aim to deliver late next year for PCs and Xbox consoles only, although the Xbox version I've heard will come a little bit later, or even cancelled. In any case, this is how the game will eventually look like.
My people, our tree has withered. It has been drained by the dragon.
Dragonheir, Silent Gods, on the other hand, is an upcoming party-based online role-playing game where y'all get to embark on a journey to save a world that was nearly destroyed during a battle of some dragon gods. See, I don't think there is really much to talk about with this one, except it is pretty much inspired by Dungeons & Dragons, like it's a dice-based, turn-based, almost tabletop, and set to be coming to PCs, mobile devices as well by the end of 2023. Check it out, in case you missed it. Next up, we've got Robin Hood Builders of Sherwood. This is an action-adventure city-building RPG, well, hybrid, so to speak, in which you take on the role of a classic hero, Robin Hood, who fights for justice in a fictional city called Sherwood. So check it out. As far as action goes, this game consists of fighting, crafting, stealing, and of course, helping the local community to just grow, all set within an open world. Check it out, this one's coming to PCs only sometime next year.
It is time, Lord Theodric.
I know. I just never thought I'd take up arms and leave home again.
Coming up behind that from barely a month ago, sitting on Steam right now for about $40, on its way to consoles just a little later, something here called the Valiant, or the Valiant, which is a squad-based, just real-time strategy and a narrative-based single-player, but also playable online. The offline, though, comes in first because it's got a hefty campaign, so to speak. There ain't really much of building and crafting in the game though, but it is really good in nature. The only problem is it could be a little bit slow at times.
Less talking, boy.
You owe me much more than one axe.
Take cover! Advance! After me!
God have mercy, there are so many. The hour of reckoning is at hand, friends.
Aye, but at least we get to go out in a blaze of glory, lad.
Do we fight or flee?
Lord, battle is upon us. Fight with God in your heart!
This has been in the making legitimately 3 years now as I'm speaking, and we just got confirmation from the lead creator behind it at the Rockstar. Guys, in case you missed it earlier, we've got something over here called Project Medieval. Supposedly a medieval era open world game, just like the Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead in terms of replay, albeit taking place in a much older timeline. So check it out. This game's said to be in mid-development stage and probably due out in 2025 at its earliest. And last but not least, we have actually sitting on Steam once again since September this year with only a couple of positive reviews, technically the only reviews. In case you missed it, something here called Peregrine. This is a third-person hack-and-slash melee combat action game, a lot in the same vein as Dark Souls, but also the World of Warcraft with nice little emphasis on exploration and just click-based stuff. Check it out. In case you missed it, this game is a PC exclusive right now and taking you down for $10 US.